Let's get some insights from Professor Edmund Tayaw, President and CEO of the Political Economic Elemental Researches and Strategist or PEERS. Good morning, Prof. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again.
All right, Prof. I'm sure you saw we played yung portion of the interview of the Vice President. It's very entertaining. What are your thoughts?
uh, what the word that you chose to use, no? Quite entertaining, and I would probably add amusing. Well, one thing that we should bear in mind is that the vice president is a lawyer herself, no?
Yes.
And being a lawyer, that means I'm quite sure, no, she would not have passed the bar exams if she's not familiar with, prosecution and how the process actually works, no? If we're counting days, I think ICI is about a month old,
Yes.
no? And well, the president actually detonated the bombshell during the SONA, so that's July. So we have the whole of September and now halfway to October, and therefore at the heat of the investigation. And given the timetable, I have no idea whether there's a model or an example that the vice president has in mind, wherein a case has been solved in not necessarily a day, but a week or two, or probably in a month. Perhaps we can recall how the Dampoles case was. I wouldn't even use the word resolve, no?
Yes.
But definitely cases were filed, and many accused were placed behind bars. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some of those who were placed behind the bars as decided by regular courts, not by a sitting president or not by any other
Right.
department, but the court was actually freed, no, by no less than her father,
That's right.
no,
Yeah.
former President Duterte, or at the very least during his time. And so I wondered really what the vice president is trying to share or impart, no, in this regard. Also, that if we're not singling out cases, no, using going back to her pronouncements, no, if we're not singling out cases or incidents of fraud, why is she setting aside, no, the case of Parmalee and the
Yes.
laptops in the same way that I wonder if she will agree, no, if the Napoles case has been settled.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's not just this, kahit sa Senate hearing lumalabas, hindi naman yung mga flood control projects lang ang kailangang imbestigahan dito eh. Malawakan talaga itong ang tawag dito, anomalyang ito, no? At kailangan nating makita yung kaduluduluhan. So mahirap sabihin, it's difficult to say that we will just be limiting the investigation to this administration, two, only flood control projects, and three, two, especially to particular personalities. At yun yung problema ni Congressman Kiko Barsaga, no? Hindi ko alam kung anong background ni Congressman Kiko Barsaga, kung ano man ang tinapos niya, kung may natapos man, no? Pero siguro kailangan merong magsabi sa kanya, mag-explain sa kanya na may proseso tayo para malaman natin kung si Pedro at si Juan ay talagang may kasalanan, no? At kung sila man lang
Yes.
at sila lang ang may kasalanan. What we're trying to do now, and again, sabi niya hindi niya pinagre-resign ng pangulo, at sabi niya tuloy-tuloy pa din ang mga protesta. Ang tanong dito, sino ba yung mga nagpoprotesta? Hindi ba niya mga kaalyado yan? At kahit sabihin natin na hindi niya kontrolado yan at hindi siya nag-instigate, sino ba ang lumalabas na kakampi niyan? At kaninong interes ang kumbaga
Right.
whose interest, no, is it's serving, no, as far as these activities are concerned, which is kind of obvious. At huling-huli, ang nakakalungkot dito kasi hindi na talaga tinitingnan yung proseso. Malaking bagay kasi yung proseso dito. Kasi katulad yan, magpoprotesta ka sa Forbes Park. Parang sinabi mo na ang nakatira lang dyan si Speaker Martin Romualdez lang at siguro si Congressman Saldico. Ang dami nakatira dyan. At sino-sino ang nakatira dyan? Kung masisira tayo sa Forbes Park, are we sure that it will not affect the private sector and therefore drag the country further down? So I don't think any of the efforts, no, that the opposition, if we can even call them legitimate opposition, actually is being done in the service of the country.
Right. Okay, Prof, it's already 43 days or 44 days since we started this investigation about the anomalous flood control projects. And yet, of course, a lot of people are saying, until now, wala pa naman tayo nakikitang mga big fish na nakukulong or whatever. And I understand your point that we have to respect the process. But do you think, at the rate that we are going right now, we are going through that path na talagang merong makukulong at the end of the day?
Alam mo, wag muna tayo doon sa pupunta doon sa kung may makukulong. May pangkulang sa ICI, no?
Yes.
Hindi, alam mo, sa totoo lang, kahit pa sabihin natin na mali ang ginagawa nung mga bumabatikos sa Pangulo, hindi ko maintindihan bakit hindi pa nasa-certify as urgent yung mga pending bill sa Congress. Ang dami naman na nating nadinig na explanation dito bakit kailangang maipasa itong mga batas na ito. Kasi kailangan natin maging independent talaga itong ICI at kailangan natin mabigyan talaga ng ngipin itong ICI. Hindi sapat yung executive order no? At ito ay marami nang na-explain dito. Ngayon, mabuti na lang nung nag-resign ang si Baguio City Mayor Magalong at natanong siya tungkol sa proseso ng ICI, sinabi niyang maayos at maganda ang proseso na sinusunod ng ICI, no? Kung hindi siguro doon sa kanyang pangungusap na yon, talagang hindi matatahimik ang karamihan sa pag-question, no, sa mga proseso na na sinusunod ng ICI. Kasi however we try to see it, ICI is not a court of law.
Yes.
Exactly.
No? Therefore, I myself, no, I will include my voice to those asking why the proceedings of the ICI are not being made public. And again, I go back to the pronouncement of Baguio City Mayor Magalong that there are information that are being shared, no, in the conduct of the ICI's investigation that cannot be made public. But perhaps even the ICI itself and even those invited, no, for interview or questioning, however they call it, would know beforehand whether any and all of the information that will be shared cannot be shared to the public initially. Pwede silang mag-request ng executive session in that regard. Pero yung sasabihin mo na the whole process is free from public observation, para sa akin kulang pa din yung explanation. Kaya kailangan talaga na mas palakasin pa natin yung mandato ng ICI. At yun ang talagang kulang na nakikita ko dito.
Oo. Yun nga po to follow it up lang, kasi sabi nga nila, ICI must have subpoena and contempt powers. And si Congresswoman Laila De Lima has already filed the bill, pero hindi pa rin po kumikilos yung iba. Why do you think so? Especially also sa side din ng Senate.
Mahirap i-second guess yan, pero I'm sure many, if not all of the members of the House of Representatives and even the Senate, no, are all not only informed, but they are agreeable that the ICI has to be made more legitimate, no, by a legislation. I'm sorry, but even the EO creating the ICI is not even if I'm not mistaken, no, I may be wrong, but what I remember is that it was not issued by the president himself. It was issued by the authority of the president himself. And whether we like it or not,
Yeah, oo.
kulang no? Itong creation na ito. Ang magandang balita lang dito, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, kahapon yata ito na interview, ang nabanggit ng dating DPWH and now ICI member Singson is that they already have a smoking gun, no, and that they just don't want to preempt, no, the developments in the investigation, and that's a welcome that's welcome news, no, considering, as you've mentioned, we have just
43 days, 44
43 days pa lang ang lumipas, no?
Since
So
it started.
pero meron ng ganyan na
Development.
report. Pero yun na nga, alam mo kasi hindi lang yung resulta ng investigasyon ang inaantabayanan ng taong bayan. Kailangan makita nila na talagang maayos yung proceedings.
Yes.
In other words, makikita nila na kumbaga reliable at kapanipaniwala yung proseso. Ayaw nating mangyari yung nangyari doon sa Napoles, na si Napoles lang ang kaduluduluhan.
Yeah.
Oo, yeah.
At ganun din sa Parmal, no? Bigla na lang nawala sa usapan. Naku, alam niyo, pandemya pa nangyari yan. Isipin mo, kung namamatay na yung mga tao, ninanakawan mo pa.
That's right.
So, at sorry, pero yung mga lumabas doon sa investigasyon, sila pa yung kumakapagsalita ngayon. Akala mo kung sino mga malilinis, which is really adding insult to injury.
That's right. Prof, could it be yung agam-agam ng the other side of the political fence with regards to the independence of the ICI or impartiality stems from the fact that alam nila at the end of the day, kahit anong findings na makalap ng ICI, ipapasa ito sa ombudsman, and we all know who the ombudsman is, and we know his political stance, although the ombudsman supposed to be impartial. Could it be it's the personality himself ang kinakatakutan ng other side?
You know, there will always be a problem with personalities, no? Kasi the whole setup itself, I don't even, I never called it a system anymore, no? All we have is just a political setup, because everything actually stems from and depends on personalities, and that's
alliances as well.
That's the sad state of our public institution. So, in other words, normal yan. But it doesn't mean that they are left with no other recourse. At the end of the day, the ombudsman cannot act without evidence. Hindi naman pwedeng gumalaw yan na walang justification. At kung sakali na kulang ang magiging galaw ng ombudsman, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, maaari naman silang pumunta sa a regular court of law, or even the petition the Supreme Court to force the ombudsman to act. No? So hindi ganoon natatapos 'yon. Ang alam mo, sa tingin ko, hindi yung impartiality at hindi yung objectivity ng proseso ang kinatatakutan ng kabilang grupo. Ang problema nila mapupuntahan din lahat sila diyan na tatamaan
That's right.
sa totoo. No? So it's not just the leaders of the current administration, but also those who came before them, because it's rather clear, no, from if we will recall, no, what's this the information shared in many public hearings held by both the Senate and the House of Representatives, it would seem, actually it's not would seem, this clearly started way before, no. Ngayon ito nahuli kasi talagang masyado ng garapalan yung nangyayari ngayon, pero hindi maaari na ngayon lang ito nagsimula, kasi hindi naman sila lalaki ng ganyan kung ang pinagsimulan. At yun ang pinoproblema siguro nung kabilang grupo. Kaya din nila pinipuwersa yung EDSA, kasi pag lumabas itong mga katotohanan na ito, talagang mahihirapan tayong mamili sa 2028, kasi lumalabas kailangan natin ng bagong muka at kailangan natin ng bagong pangalan.
Lumalabas walang tulak kabigin, ika nga.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and within this process, no, I might have to add that.
Go ahead.
Within this process, we need to undergo cleansing. Lahat naman ng bansa na dumaan sa ganyang problema, nag-cleansing. Tayo kasi never tayo nag-cleansing eh. Ang dami ng dumaang mga pagkakataon na dapat sana nag-reset tayo. Katulad ng 1986 EDSA Revolution. Ang ginawa lang natin, ibinalik lang natin yung saligang batas bago yung Marcos Constitution. Wala tayong binago sa system. Ibinalik lang natin. In other words, actually, isinunod ko din ito sa isang media kinorek pa yung opinion ko, no? Na the 1986 EDSA revolution is not a revolution because we did not change anything. We just returned the same elites to power.
Yeah.
No? And this has been written by many experts, not just by what I wrote before. So, sa madaling sabi, baka ito na yung opportunity na kailangan natin talagang pagnilay-nilayan yung klase ng paggugobyerno na meron tayo at hindi lang magpapalitan na alam mo yung parang musical chairs lang na ikaw muna, pagkatapos mo, ako naman ang magnanakaw. Ganun ang nangyayari sa atin
So do you think this is really going to be different right now? Because sabi nga nila, we've seen this movie already. Diba? May mga nakulong, tapos pagdating ng ibang administrasyon, lalaya na sila, nakakatakbo pa, diba? Nababalik pa sila sa pwesto. People are angry again. Pero it's a cycle, kumbaga. So, Professor, do you think it's going to be different at this time?
Sa totoo lang, I can only keep my fingers crossed that it's not going to be a replay of the same script, so to speak. Kasi kapag ganun pa din na nangyari, alam mo ang kaibahan kasi nung Napoles case, hindi naramdaman ng tao yung, naramdaman nila in terms of lack of public services, no, lackluster government performance, and so on and so forth. Ito, tuwing babagyo at tuwing babaha, ramdam ng tao yung inis Ramdam ng tao hindi lang yung discomfort, pati yung mga apektado sa pamumuhay nila. At hindi lang yun, pati yung mga nasasawi. Kaya, alam mo yun, it keeps people reminded of the atrocities that, resulted from all this abuse in government. Tapos, kung ganyan na magiging istorya at walang mapapanagot, walang makikitang malaking tao, fall guy lang ang lalabas dyan. No? At when I say fall guy, hindi lang dapat DPWH people definitely have to be held accountable kasi systemic talaga. The contractors definitely should be held accountable. Pero hindi naman makakagalaw yung dalawang yan without the participation. So meron din dapat doon. Sa madaling sabi, kumbaga sa banda, kumpleto ng act ito dapat. At pag hindi nangyari ito, naku, sorry, pero mababait ang mga Pilipino, ayaw ng gulo, pero hindi natin masabi, no? Kasi talagang medyo karumal-dumal actually, no? Walang patayan na nangyayari, pero parang pinatay mo na din yung Pilipino sa nangyaring ito.
Pero Prof, I could cite, there's Myanmar, there's Nepal, there was Hong Kong at one point. All of them, mas maliit nga ang nangyaring mitya and it triggered something more violent, which ayaw naman natin. Could it be, Prof, na on our part, kumbaga that's why we're not yet fully triggered as a nation for a moral or systemic revolution? It's because the top two officials in the land belong to two specific factions na there is a middle ground that is torn, that won't want to participate in this moral revolution because they don't want to be stuck with either of these two leaders.
Sinong papalit? Parang ganun.
Actually, you could not have said it better. No? Parang ang lumalabas dito, wala kang mapagpilian So, ako sa totoo lang, the reason why I've been quite vocal about my disagreements with the other group is that whether we like it or not, the sitting president is a legitimately elected president. It is the legitimate government, no? At siguro to add to what you have mentioned, apart sa walang mapagpilian, alam mo, yung Myanmar at saka yung Nepal, ngayon lang nila ginawa yan Tayo, nangyari na yan before, wala sigurong namatay, fine. Pero maraming nasira at talagang, kumbaga, it took time before we could even get back up, so to speak, no? In other words, nakita na natin 2 beses na tayong EDSA, kumbaga. At mismong yung mga kumbaga minamaliit yung EDSA dati, sila ngayon yung gustong mag-EDSA. So
Yes.
yun yung medyo katawa-tawa dito sa istorya natin So at the end of the day, kasalanan din nila kung ano yung nangyayari, no? But at the end of the day, we really need this to we need the process to actually happen and completed, see the end of it, and then hopefully this will finally convince everyone from the leaders down to the common tao that we need a change. We need to come up with a system this time na hindi lang dependent sa tao.
That's right.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Professor Edmund Tayo, President and CEO of the Political Economic Elemental Researches and Strategist or PEERS.
Salamat. Siguro mabilis lang na imbitasyon. Sunod-sunod na po yung mga magiging ang tawag dito seminars sa pagbabago ng sistema. Magsisimula kami sa San Beda University sa October 28. Sana tuloy-tuloy nating pag-usapan para pagkatapos mapanagot ang mga tao o habang pinapanagot yung mga taong nagkasala sa gobyerno, pag-usapan na natin yung pagbabagong totoo.
Right.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for
so
that.
much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.